Would you like to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Speakeasy and master connector Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on this planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Hey, Thrive Loud listeners. We have a series of special episodes coming your way that took place at the Wall Street Conference in Palm Beach, Florida in late May of 2025. I had the pleasure of speaking with many amazing leaders on that day from a number of different industries at this conference. We have episodes where we feature just one of the guests, and in a few instances, we paired some guests together into one particular episode. Now, I'm going to put this intro disclaimer at the top of each of the episodes within the series. For those that listen to Thrive Loud, we apologize as there was a lot of people milling about as we were part of Radio Row, and there was quite a buzz on the conference floor. For those that watch Thrive Loud on either YouTube or Spotify, we apologize for the lighting and video quality, as it was a little challenging to capture high-quality video, both with the setup we had and the very bright Florida sunshine trying to jump in and steal the spotlight, or should I say sunlight. We wanted to thank the Wall Street Conference for having us. Special thanks to Jason Lyons for connecting with us there, as well as C-Suite Radio. Let's get to the episode. Welcome, everyone, to another spectacular episode of the Thrive Loud / Wall Street Conference insane run of shows. Because if you've been watching this, we've had numerous guests on for this amazing program here. But that's because there's so many incredible people at this event. Aaron Day, founder of Amaze Software, known as Amaze, here with me today.
Hi, Lou.
Great
Thanks.
to have you, man.
Good to see you.
Okay, here's what I want to do. We're going to do the quick version here. I kind of want to understand what Amaze is and how you came to launch and create it.
Okay, great. So, in the simplest terms, Amaze Software is a social commerce engine. So, we are the software that powers commerce in platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Discord, Adobe, and we're integrated. So if you want to sell something on one of those platforms, you activate our software. Our software lets you sell it in those platforms. We have a lot of other services, a lot of other capabilities in our software, like design software, things like that. But the fundamental piece of what we do is that we empower small businesses to sell natively on the social media platforms. Okay.
So let's give an example of how somebody would use Amaze to do this.
Okay, so a great example. So Jake Paul, huge creator, he has 5 different product lines, a boxing line, a golf line. He goes into his YouTube channel. Once he gets to 500 subscribers, he can activate an integrated selling experience with Amaze. He comes in, he drops his products into a store or listing, embeds it in the product shelf, and then as he creates video content, in the admin panel, he can actually go in and tag all that stuff and sell it live in the platform.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it enables a commerce piece right then.
Yes.
Within that.
Think Shopify, but integrated in the social platforms.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So it's integrated in the social platforms. How long has this been around?
So we launched the company in September 2021.
Okay. And pretty interesting peaks and valleys within that time frame.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what it looks like today, 4 years later, almost 4 years later.
Yeah, so 4 years later, we've grown from no users to over 15 million users on the platform. Wow. We have about 1.5 billion visitors, unique visitors coming into the platform every month. We have done a really good job integrating with all the platforms, so lots and lots of easy discoverability of our platform. And we just been, the last 2 years, been really focused on expanding supply chain integration, product connectivity, things like that, so that these creators that are already monetizing through content can add a new revenue stream.
Oh my God.
They can create their own branded products. They can sell third-party products. They can do digital content. They can sell a podcast if they want in a store, things like that. So we just really been focused on helping bring more and more product to them so they can increase the revenue that they're generating.
These 3 years in putting this together, obviously, like any other company, you have challenges and whatnot. What would you say was the biggest surprise as it led to you leading this company to where we are today? And what do you think has been the most frustrating thing you've had to deal with?
So before launching this company, I came from Canva. I was one of the guys reporting to the founders of Canva, helping grow their business.
Just to be clear, thank you. I love your product.
Yep.
Your artwork will be utilized on Canva.
Great. A huge fan of Canva, huge fan of the founders. Spent about 3 years with them. The biggest challenge was we launched this company right as COVID was sort of ending, and we saw a massive explosion of users, right? We went from 0 to millions and millions of users very, very quickly. The business grew rapidly, but as the COVID hangover kind of settled in, we went through this period where we went through sort of a funding challenge for a little bit because we were a hyper-growth company. We had to pivot a bit, kind of change the story a little bit because we were in the beginning, the investors behind us were like, look, just grow as fast as you can. Right. And then around middle of 2023, we had to pivot towards, okay, well, we can grow, but we got to grow with a certain level of profitability. And that was a big pivot to the business, right? But it's still, every day, 8,000 people sign up on our platform organically. We pay nothing for them. They come in, they start selling stuff. So we've got this massive top of funnel business, right? That's great.
Do we know that we're signing up for it?
So you're signing up for it, and because you integrate it back into the platform. What's interesting is that, I would guess that probably any adult person in North America that has a credit card has probably gone into one of our stores and bought something, and they don't know that there are stores.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah,
because it's a Jake Paul store, it's a Lou Diamond store. It's you're creating the stores, you're integrating it, but under the hood, it's all of our tech and all of our supply chain powering it all. So.
Gotcha. Okay, so what does it look like people-wise in your organization today? Number of people?
Yeah, no, it's not. Look, it's the heavy lift has been done. So we went from around 100 and 120 employees, most of them engineers, to today we operate a company with about 50 full-time employees and around 30 contracted employees. And really, it's a developed product, and so a lot of little fine-tuning, a lot of new services being brought in, but it's a pretty efficient company. So,
love it.
Yeah.
In this spot that you're in right now, we're here at the Wall Street Conference. What did you come here to take away or gain at this?
So we went public at the end of March through a merger with a public company on the New York Stock Exchange. So my first experience being the CEO of a public company.
Clarify that. So through a merger, help me understand that part.
So we spent most of 2024 trying to do a reverse merger. We could find a nice little shell on either the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange to merge into to get public without having to go through a traditional IPO.
Okay.
We ended up, the company we merged into is a nice little wine business, direct-to-consumer wine business, which is something we needed anyways in our platform, another product vertical. But we decided just to merge with them. And so there's about a 2-month process of merging, getting the ticker symbol changed, getting all the preferred stock converted. So around June 12th is when everything culminates in a shareholder meeting. But we're actively part of a public company now, and then on June 12th I'll take over. New board comes in, all that kind of stuff happens. So it's a very exciting time for us. So I'm learning how to speak to Wall Street investors.
That's why we're here.
And that's why I'm here. So
we got it.
I get the vernacular, I get the language, I get the style down. So
we just had this conversation. It was an offline conversation with one of the guests who's been at this conference here. The way that you're speaking to listeners and viewers or potential customers versus the way that you have to talk to an investment community, investor community is obviously tremendously different. I want to ask this question. Do you like this role that you've been thrown into? Because obviously someone who sounds like an entrepreneur who's come up with a great idea but is kind of thrown into a different structural organization. I imagine this was not how you thought you'd be spending a lot of your time in this merger IPO type of thing?
It's a really good question, and I'm going to answer it in sort of a hybrid way, okay? So when we founded this company, I had two major objectives. There's a problem I felt needed to be solved, making selling easier, but I also felt like at that moment in time, small businesses were really suffering. And I felt like if I could figure out a way to help small businesses add a new revenue stream, I could do a lot of good for small businesses around the world. And so going public allows us, in the current sort of private VC world and how it's set up in the world versus the public world, going public allows me to create the right sort of venture funds and funding vehicles that I want to help accelerate so many of these small businesses that have so much potential, right? So it is an enormous amount of extra effort. I'm learning daily. I'm not sure I want to be the public investor face. I think I'm probably better at running the product and the culture of the company. But it's a necessity for us because we see this next generation of entrepreneurs, and they need our help, right? They really, really need our help. So I'm really passionate about it. So I'll put up with learning and doing some things that maybe aren't in my comfort zone to help them.
Just to be clear, you all agree he's doing a phenomenal job in front of out of your comfort zone.
Well, it's something I'm passionate about, right? So and I talk about it a little bit, So
let's do a little admin part here. Where can people find you, Aaron, or where can they learn about Amaze? What's the easiest way for them?
So the easiest way to find us is just through our website, amaze.co. You'll see all of our products. We have an investor relationship site on the website. We're trading on the New York Stock Exchange as AMZE. I will give everyone a little call out that we did AMZE, so we're right next to Amazon.
I was just about to say
we're going to disrupt Amazon. You got to believe me, it's coming, right?
Because if I'm typing AMAZ, I know what's coming up on my browser.
100%. So
I understand what's going.
It's nice mental recognition there, but just remember too that we haven't converted yet. So you still see the ticker symbol, but it's still just the small little holding company that's there. So we'll see that update here soon, and then. On all the social media profiles. I mean, I'm probably most active on LinkedIn, but,
Aaron, I'm going to give you 3 questions here just to kind of make this shortened version of our speed round. I think you can handle it.
Okay.
You ready? An activity you wish you did more of?
Scuba dive.
Ooh. You do it often?
I used to. I used to be a master diver, used to teach people how to dive. Life doesn't permit much time right now, but I absolutely love scuba diving. So.
An activity you wish you did less of?
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to be politically correct on this one. Probably less Zoom calls. Right?
Understood. Understood. A new activity, one you've recently tried, you like so much, you're going to tell everybody else to try.
So I just started playing tennis. I started playing tennis in my 50s. I love it. It is providing me with the mental break I need during the week with everything we're dealing with. So I'm very crazy about my men's league and playing tennis, and that's something I like a lot, right?
I like it a lot.
And learning AI as much as I possibly can along the way, because you got to have some AI in the mix. So
along those lines about a tennis racket, I play pickleball.
Okay.
And I used ChatGPT the other day and did something really cool. I put the camera so ChatGPT can see the racket that was there.
Yes.
And it did 2 things. One, it told me which model this one was or whatever it was, which I guess was pretty good. But what it did even better was it gave me 3 options on where to buy it and where the lowest price was. And I was like,
that's amazing.
I like it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I see a theme here today.
Yeah.
Aaron Day, Amaze Software. Thank you so much for coming on.
Lou, great to meet you. Thank you.
Continued success to you. Continued adventures going on. I'm going to mistype on my browser from now on every time I go to check you out.
I hope you do.
Okay.
Thanks.
To all the listeners out there, thank you for joining us. Until next time, keep moving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright.
And have an amazing day.
Have an amazing day. Welcome, everyone, to another spectacular episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond, and today on Thrive Loud, we have the CEO of Velocity Wireless, who literally didn't know he was going to be on camera or on this microphone until about, 3 minutes ago. His name is Michael Kelly. Michael, great to meet you.
Thank you. Great to meet you.
Michael, here's what I want to do. I don't want to go all the way back to the very beginning to birth. I kind of want to know how the path got you into this gig you have right now to Velocity Wireless.
Oh, wow. So how did it start? So I was in the wireless space for a while. I did a lot of consulting and project management for the major 4 carriers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, Nextel at the time. And after 10 years, I realized that, I was focused on execution, and I developed a skill. And my last major project revolved around me saving $10 million on a project for AT&T. And I was excited about that. I'm like, hey, go to my director. Hey, I just saved $10 million on this project. What do you think? And he's like, oh, okay, great. And I'm like, huh? And he says, Mike, let me explain something to you. What you got to understand is I get graded on the amount of money that I spend, right? So if I spend $99 million on this project, I get an A. If I spend 70, I get a C. Now I have a $10 million problem. And so I said, okay. And a light bulb went on, ding, ding, ding. I said, let me get on the other side and see if I can help them spend some of that money. So I started a site development part of the business, and we consulted on the other side as a vendor to deploy wireless systems, antennas on rooftops, and I'm probably responsible for about 15,000 sites.
So you're on the
past
side helping
10
you
years.
distribute that content or help to sell basically like where the actual signals are going up? Is that
Yes,
what you're saying?
100%. Yep.
Gotcha. So how long ago did you start Velocity?
Started Velocity 11 years ago.
Okay, and how big of an organization do you have today?
Well, we're still a small group, but we span throughout the U.S. and Canada. We have over 5,000 rooftops that we manage,
Wow.
and we're in just about every state.
So, first of all, going from working an organization to starting an organization, share with the listeners and viewers here a little bit about like how has that journey been? You've been doing it for 10 years.
Well, there's been ups and downs. It's rewarding, but there's a lot of pain involved. So you have to be able to tolerate having to do everything. When I was, doing the consulting contracts, I was standing behind big companies and their budgets, and all I had to worry about was my work. But when you start a company, you have to worry about everything, every detail. You got to make sure everything goes right. You got to worry about every team member, and until you can really scale. So you got to be willing to tolerate some pain, but it's worth it. The freedom that I have, my family life is wonderful as a result. I get to, take off when I need to take off, spend time with the family, and it's fun. It's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's rewarding.
The challenge of the space that you're in, obviously, you're fighting for rooftop space, so to speak, on top of buildings, and we've all seen it.
Yep.
I've also seen those, lovely, they look like trees type things, they put this stuff up. Have we gotten too flooded? What does the skies look like to somebody that doesn't know?
It's not flooded. There's plenty of opportunity, and there's always a possibility that your rooftop may work. A lot of times, there are towers that have become extremely expensive for the tenants, the wireless tenants, and they're always looking for new locations. So you may be within a mile radius of a tower where, they can reduce their overall cost by 50% just by moving over to your site. So there's always potential, and I think it makes sense to at least get your property in the pool. And you never know. We consistently submit our portfolio to the carriers, and we usually land new leases every year. We always land in new leases. So it's not as competitive, but the bigger pool you put in, the higher your chances, obviously, of landing a deal.
Over the last 10 years, from just coming up with the idea to running it, how many people are you overseeing and looking at within the company?
About, I think, 17.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the challenges as a leader versus leading yourself, what are the things you love about helping to guide a company and being the boss?
Well, my focus is really developing a team and helping them in any way that I can to help them succeed. So my focus is, building confidence in my team members, and really focusing on their needs,
Yeah.
because I think if I take care of them, they're going to take care of the client, and everyone's happy, So my focus is always on what can I do to help them grow.
We're here at the Wall Street Conference in South Florida. What is the main takeaway that you're looking to walk away with from it today?
I think that always put yourself in a position where you're open to new opportunities. And be willing to hear people out and hear what they have to offer, because you never know, you may strike an amazing deal, and you never know who you're talking to.
I was going to hit this part. Obviously, you probably overlap into, there's commercial real estate where you can be dealing with,
Yep.
obviously in other investors or people who look within growing the business. It's a lot of hats you have to wear while being the CEO of the job. Is there one hat you like doing more than another? Wearing more than another?
I enjoy building relationships with the client. So I would say if I could just focus on building new relationships and growing the existing ones, and not having to deal with. Sometimes I have to deal with day-to-day stuff, but just doing that'd be, probably my client relations. Let's put it like that. Yeah.
Before we go to our little Fun Street version here on the show, share with the listeners and viewers all the places people can learn about you, Velocity Wireless, links, socials, whatever it is.
VelocityWirelessLLC.com.
The LLC. Who's got the thing in front of the LLC? We got to go find those people.
Right.
Michael, I love asking. I'm going to make a short version of our speed round here. First things that come to your mind. Here we go. An activity you wish you did more of.
Boating.
An activity you wish you did less of.
That's a good one. Wow. I really love what I do. It's hard. It's hard. Man.
I love when I stump them.
I can't. I really can't.
That's a good bit. That means you're already doing all the things you want to be doing. A new activity, one you've recently tried, you like so much, you want to tell all the listeners and viewers to try.
Playing golf.
Playing golf. That's new to you. How new?
Well, it's new to me in the sense I've been playing a lot more lately,
Okay.
and I just took some lessons years ago, but now I'm really playing, so I want to do more. Yeah, it's really. It's
I'll let
new.
you know. It's a new experience every time I tee it up. I have no idea what's going to happen. Michael Kelly, truly a pleasure to have you. Velocity Wireless. Thanks for coming on Thrive Loud. To all our listeners and viewers out there, thank you for joining us. Until next time, keep moving onward and upward, and remember, be brief, be bright, be gone. Welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have a very cool individual coming to us from Mississippi. Heads up Farmer Fresh Produce, Carl Boyanton. Carl, how are you today?
Great, having a great time.
We are here at the Wall Street Conference in South Florida, part of a whole series of interviews you've either been listening to or watching here on YouTube. Carl's got a cool story, interesting business. Here's what I want to do. I don't want to rewind and go all the way back to the womb.
Right.
I kind of want to get to the point on how Farmer Fresh Produce became your gig.
Whew. Back to the womb. I started in produce in Seattle in 1982, and I went to work for a company that was doing about $1 million a year, and I worked my way to the top of it. And when I retired in 2000, we were doing almost $1 billion a year.
Wow.
I moved back home because I didn't want my daughters to grow up in Seattle, so went back to Mississippi and started more companies. Built them up, built a company up from 0 to 40 million in 4 years, and went from 40 million to a 0 in a day.
Oh.
Katrina.
Yeah.
And then I built it back up, sold it, have a couple other companies, and I do a lot of different things in produce. I write contracts for national chains, and so my background being produce, I'm also big into charity.
Before we get to that, I want to understand in the areas of produce, what were the specific things that you focused on?
Everything. I mean, I've done everything in produce, import, export. I was the first one to get produce into Vietnam, first one to get it into Russia. I've done everything there is. I started driving a truck. You name it, I've done it.
You mentioned some charity and foundation work. What are you focused on today?
Well, I started in 2021. Me and my wife started a charity called Farm Fresh for Mississippi.
Okay.
And it's morphed into Farm Fresh for Mississippi and America. And what it's about is providing healthy foods to people in need. So in other words, we give fruits and vegetables away to like veterans organizations. We do the Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners for Veterans Outreach in Mississippi. We donate fruits and vegetables to all these giveaways for the people in need. And then our biggest donors, or maybe our only donors, are me, my wife, and my two companies. So, but we've expanded it now, and we launched a deal called Project Food Box with a company out of California, which are tailored meals to treat chronic diseases. I mean, this is perfect in the Make America Healthy atmosphere right now, is because we have the vehicle that can actually start today delivering it. And that's what we're doing. We're working with politicians, insurance companies, hospitals, trying to set up to where we can deliver and help treat chronic diseases and get people on a healthy track And the only way you can do it is to be able to be consistent. And because of our background in produce and logistics, it's like RFK Jr. It might take them years to get something started because it's government. We can show them results in 3 weeks.
In putting together this initiative, obviously your entrepreneurial bit, successful in growing these companies. Charitable work is a little different. Different organizations and parts of dealing with it. Or do you see it as the same?
I see it the same. It's just another business, you know. The only thing is that, you know, we do it because we want to.
Right.
You know, it's not about the money. It's all about the fact that we want to try to help people get healthy again.
Yeah.
And since that's my business, it's a natural.
Now, produce has always been fairly healthy. I think we could both say that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, fruits and vegetables and
Single ingredient.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one you're supposed to be eating. So I guess that's always been in the line there. And I know there's a lot of geographic limitations in some of the stuff. And maybe even talk about some of the international stuff. You did import export. Certain parts of the country, you know, get things and prices have gone, you know, through the roof in certain areas. Observing the produce space as it's been over the last couple of years, like we'll go from post-COVID and on, you know, unrealistic, crazy, challenging. Tell me from the history of what you've been involved in.
Well, actually, produce it's a commodity. So when you see people say like, oh my God, it's the government, our prices are so high. It's not. It's a commodity. If there's a lot of it, it's cheap. If there's not, it's expensive. So the variables on produce have nothing to do with what the government's doing. I mean, you know, people are talking about tariffs and stuff. Well, you know, we have tariffs on produce for as long as I know.
Right.
And we call them minimums, where we're protecting our market over here. So we're paying 1,000% tariff sometime on some of our produce because we can't sell it into the country cheaper than what we can sell here on American product.
Are we growing more? Are we consuming more food in the United States from the United States, or are we bringing it from elsewhere?
Well, the good part is, and especially has been this trend for a while, is most people want American grown. Right. So most of these big corporations, big companies and stuff, really only want American produce. But unfortunately, we don't grow it year round, so you have to go somewhere else to get it. And everything right now, when I started in produce, we had seasons. You didn't get peaches in the wintertime, right. But as it's evolved, you're never out of anything anymore. And that just means we're accessing all around the country, and the logistics is short to get it here. But the bad part about that is what they've done is they've made produce inedible. Because if you look at produce nowadays, it's all grown for looks and shelf life. So it always looks great, but if you went back just in the 90s, the taste is so much different than that.
And our taste buds have also adapted and changed to it. I know
right.
that as well. It reminds me, the first time I ever went to Italy, and I had a simple tomato. My eyes were just popping out of my head, knowing this is the greatest thing I think I've ever eaten.
Right.
You know, natural from there, no additives, preservatives, whatever it might be. And keeping the quality of what it was, maybe.
Right, and actually, tell you the truth, I'm working on trying to help fix that a little bit because I do have another project I do, which is we have a solution, and it's water-based, that kills E. coli, salmonella, Legionnaire's disease, listeria, and COVID viruses. And it's water-based, so you can spray it in your mouth. We're working on marketing that right now to the produce industry. And what it does, it also extends shelf life.
Oh, wow.
So we could go back to having more tasteful produce because you don't have to develop it with no sugar in it, so it ships. So you can actually have something that is heirloom, treat it with this, which is, like I said, and it's food safe. I mean, it's safe for eating. Treat it with this, and it'll add shelf life to it.
Right.
We did a study out of Egypt where they did the citrus with this solution, added 6 weeks to shelf life. So that means you could go back and actually plant heirloom oranges that have sugar in them and be able to ship them.
Do you have your own garden? I was going to ask you, do you grow your own fruits and vegetables? I've been dying to ask that question at the beginning.
I just bought 25 acres in Picayune, Mississippi,
Okay.
and just bought a couple tractors, and I'm going to start planting a citrus orchard
Go you.
because I've got all the connections in the world in California on the know-how to do it, and Mississippi can grow anything.
Right.
So I'm going to try to develop Mississippi into a citrus state.
Amazing. Carl, let's do the admin part of the show before we have a brief version of Fun Street here. Where can everybody learn about you or any of the initiatives going on your charities, etc.?
You can go to Farmed Fresh for Mississippi, ms.org.
Get farmedfreshformississippi.org.
Yeah, it's farmedfreshforms.org.
Got it. Perfect.
And that's the perfect website.
Okay, Carl. I'm going to give 3 quick questions here to put a bow on this episode. First, an activity you wish you did more of.
Golf.
You a pretty good player?
Used to be, I'm not anymore.
Not anymore. An activity you wish you did less of.
Dude. Nothing. I mostly just work.
A new activity, one you've recently tried that you like so much you want to tell all the listeners and viewers to try.
Wow, I got a new e-bike, so I guess I want to try that.
Carl Boyanton, thank you so much for coming on Thrive Loud.
Thank you.
Great work you're doing, helping to change Mississippi, and also all the great work you've done in the past, helping people live healthier lives. We like that about people. It's good stuff. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, bud.
To all the listeners and viewers out there, thank you for joining us. Until next time, keep moving onward and upward, and remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.